College really just helped me put me in the right places, meet the right people, and then give me the confidence, whether it was through commitment or through knowledge, because when I started my own business, yes, like owning my own business, starting it didn't happen because I went to business school. But going to business school helped me when I negotiated.
I think the biggest misconception that a lot of Latinos have is that once you finish college, like you're successful,
I get what you're saying, right? Like I follow all of that, everything that you're saying with the whole AI and integrate that. But I'm also thinking about, what about old school barbershops that have been running for 20 years without using AI, and they're doing great, they're doing phenomenal, they don't need none of that stuff.
Bro, your children in a few years, they're gonna be more advanced in technology than you are. You're already starting to see it.
Today we have a special guest. We got my boy Gerson LEMUS, UCR alumni, owner and CEO of JBEZ Barbershop in Riverside and Newport. What's up? Give it up for my boy Gerson.
Gerson! First 2 years of college, I thought it was a complete scam. I was taking a bunch of prerequisites, random classes, nothing about business. And I was like, what am I doing here? I wasted a lot of my time, just, I guess, being young, making a lot of mistakes and all that stuff, just being young. And then my last 2 years, that's when I started going to more career fairs. I started talking to my professors, and I was like, wow, these guys are giving me insights that I wouldn't have got if I just would have came to class and not done everything else. So that's why I say it's what you make of it. Because if I would have never gone to those events, I would have never met people that then allowed me to study abroad, open up my own business, have a network of people, it would have not allowed me to be introduced to that whole thing. I would have just been somebody with a degree, and then I would have graduated and try to show my degree to somebody and tell them why I'm worth this position, And luckily I was able to use college as a gateway to different opportunities and different mindsets. And I definitely took advantage of that, bro, because I wasn't born here. I knew that where I was at, in this world, I was like, man, a lot of people that were in my position where we were both born don't get this opportunity. So I'm going to try to seek and get all these opportunities that maybe other people don't really need,
So you went to the whole through the whole DreamHack? You had DreamHack or?
No, luckily, bro, like I was telling you earlier, I was able to get my citizenship in my teenage years. Shout out to my dad for that. So then from there, I didn't have to do the DreamHack. I just did it as a regular, independent. But college really just helped me put me in the right places, meet the right people, and then give me the confidence, whether it was through commitment or through knowledge, because when I started my own business, yes, like owning my own business, starting it didn't happen because I went to business school. But going to business school helped me when I negotiated. For example, they told me terms and stuff that I'm like, at least I'm familiar with these terms, what a profit and loss statement is, so business plan, how to conduct that, a marketing plan, because they want to see that. And if I didn't really know what it was, and I'm talking to them like how we're talking now, and they ask me for a business plan or for some balance sheets or something like that, I'm like, I don't have that, but two, I have no idea what that is. So at least I was able to play. It's like, I don't have that right now, but I can give that to you and I can give you an estimate. I kind of knew the numbers right off the bat. So stuff like that helped me get into the positions where I'm in now. It didn't make me, but it helped me. So
you launched the barbershop while you're in college?
Yes, my fourth year. Yeah, my fourth year.
Okay.
Yeah, right. 3 months before I graduated, I launched my barbershop. And I used some of the help from my business professors to actually help me. For example, when I opened up my shop, I went to UCR, as you said, and it's a quarter system. So it's every 10 weeks.
Every 10 weeks,
So I was in my last quarter, right? And I was in week 3 or week 4 when I opened up the shop. After week 4, bro, week 5, I wasn't showing up to class. I didn't have time, bro. And so come week 7, week 8, I'm like, dude, I got to turn all this stuff that I haven't done. And I haven't been to class where they give you points for participation. So I just was straight up with my professors. I was like, look, this is what I was doing. Bro, my business law professor was like, oh, let's talk about business. What do you have what do you have in contract for insurances, worker compensations? What do you have to set up your team? I'm like, I really don't know too much about that. This is what I wanted to talk to, bro. So we were talking about the type of insurance plans that the business needs to get, that the people need to get, the type of contracts, what should be, what kind of wording should be in the contracts and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting in there damn, I'm taking like I'm getting this for free, you know, I'm taking
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, bro, he was like, you don't even got to turn that in. Like, I already gave you an A for that. And I was like, wow, for real? He was like, yeah, like this is better than the class. Like, I want to see this in action though. I want you to come back with a contract. And I was like, well, I need the contract, so I'm for sure gonna come back with it because I'm starting to hire people, but I want them to see the policies and to have something to follow. But I was like, I don't know how to make that. And he helped me at least start that. So yeah, man, like that last year did help me a lot, and the fact that I had the research of school did give me the confidence. But it's not a scam, but it's not like making it to, you know, a university and graduating from there, you made it in life. Like, you just got started. There's a lot of people who are, you know, less after they finished than when they started because of the debt, the confusion,
correct.
you know, and then the trauma and stress. Because going to college, as you know, it's like sometimes it's hard. Like, you got finals coming up and 5 different classes they got to study for, and it's just a lot of work that goes into your brain to try to remember that. So yeah, you don't necessarily need it to do what you want to do, but as long as you use the resources and the principles of school and understand the benefits of what people think it's a bad thing, like a pyramid scheme, then you can definitely benefit from going to school, and it won't be a scam.
I think the biggest misconception that a lot of Latinos have is that once you finish college, like, you're successful, you know, like, oh, when I was growing up, bro, my mom would talk to like the doñas, you know, and her friends, is like, sí, mi hijo va al colegio, mi hijo ya se va a graduar al colegio. And then my mom would be like, oh, sí, él maneja un carro así, vive aquí. And me as a little kid, I'm like, damn, I gotta go to college, bro. Like, I gotta get there somehow, you know?
Right.
But then while in college, I realized, like, you still gotta put in the work after you graduate, bro. It's not gonna guarantee you anything, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So you still have to learn what I did like about college, KO, that it opened up your mind to a whole new world that you never knew existed. Especially like contracts and suing. Like, you know about it. You hear stories growing up.
Yeah.
But to happen to you or to happen to one of your homies, like someone's actually suing his business and he didn't have insurance. You learn that about college. You're like, oh, like in law, we learned about some weird ass cases. A sandal going under the gas pedal. Who do you sue? You know, someone crashing into a glass door, bro. She didn't know it was a glass door. So she sued. She broke her nose and she hit her back. She sued. She won. And you're like, wait, you could do this? Like, this is possible? So we never see it in action, you know? But that was the main thing, like the misconception about people, like that once you finish college, you're going to get a job and you're going to be better off, you know? And like you said, sometimes you end up worse with the debt. But if you do network, I think that's where like they balance out the pros and the cons, you know?
For sure, it's worth the investment in that aspect. But like for me, like I graduated with a bachelor's in business, and like, to be honest, bro, nobody has seen my diploma. Only my dad.
That's crazy.
It's
I
right there.
have it so small too, right there.
Right. Nobody's ever asked me for it. You know, luckily I'm in a position to where I don't need it. But it's like people ask me like, so are you ever gonna use your degree for for what you're doing? I'm like, I'm using it all the time. I study marketing. You know, how do I think you got here, you know, into those doors. But yeah, man, like, so a lot of people, though, especially clients, they know, you know, I'm an entrepreneur and all this stuff. So they'll come, they'll be like, look, dude, I got this good business idea, and they'll tell me about it. And they're like, I'm like, why don't you start it? And they're like, oh, it's because I want to go to business school first so I can learn how to do all this.
I hear that so
like,
much too, bro. You know what I hear? Like, bro, I haven't figured out the logo. Don't give a fuck.
You
don't
can change
worry
that
about the
shit,
logo, bro.
right?
Yeah.
The logo ain't gonna bring you money,
I don't have a
bro.
website yet.
I don't have a website. I don't want to start it because I don't have this. It's like, bro, like, you want to start right now, and this is going to teach you more than barber school will. Business school will. But I think there's courses now, you know, like we're going to get into that, right? Like people are doing courses even for barbering, but for entrepreneurship. Now your knowledge can be seen as a currency. You can sell that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, you can sell it.
I think you can benefit more from these courses than you can from a business school because
Hell
it
yeah.
applies to you. Think about, you know, all these barbers that are doing it, right?
Yeah.
It applies to barbers, but going to a business school, you're not going to learn nothing about barbering. You might learn something that applies to barbering, but you have to do the work. You have to think outside the box. How is this going to fit into this? They're not teaching you this fits into this because of this. You have to do that last formula.
Yeah.
But don't you think that some of those classes teach you like in general, like it just doesn't have to pertain to barbering. It's up to you to pick that up and be like, how can I use it with barbering as far as us, because that's the industry we're in, right?
Right.
But taking it back to what we kicked off the podcast was in regards. So is it a scam? Because all I hear is good things about, you know, good things that flourish from you going to college. Yeah. So is it or it isn't a scam? You know, like, because I think it's based on, because I didn't go to college, but it's based on the mindset and the perspective you have of like, okay, what am I going to get out of this? So as far as you being there, I feel like you gain so much. Like you learn how to make friends to talk to, because in the high desert you didn't have people to look up to, and then you going to college, you benefit out of that.
Right.
Off of that, you started you launched your barbershop before you even finished college. So college seen you grow through that.
Yeah.
You know, and if we were to put college as like a person, and that person sees like, man, like because of me, like I helped this person build, you know. But I think it all leads up to you individually, or what you really want out of life,
and what you make of it,
and what you make of it, you know.
1000%.
But when you're in these courses, because now like you see these courses coming up everywhere, right?
Right.
Not all of them are worthy of taking the course. They're just now that it's everywhere, is now like it's like a trend more than a knowledgeable thing.
Right.
It's like and I feel like that ruins it more than if you were to go to a business class. They're going to teach you in general, not just like, hey, we're going to teach you about just barbering and how to start your barbershop, how to get barbers to fill up your chairs or whatever it is, right? And then let alone is like that barbershop, whatever's working for that barbershop and whatever they're trying to teach you, it may not work for you, bro. You may not be around the same city, and whatever workshops they did that helped them get their barbershop busy, that may not work for your barbershop. So it's still, you still have to, you know, do trial and error and, you know, try multiple things. But as far as like college, for me not going to college, I always thought that I was behind everyone that was going to college. But that's just because, like Diego mentioned earlier, us as like a Hispanic heritage growing up, is like going to college was like the thing.
Right.
Like some of us, even people that are watching right now, some of us just did it just to try to make our parents proud.
Yeah,
and a lot of us dropped out, you know, within the first school year. But you were doing it just to say, hey, I graduated, I went, I didn't like it, now I just want to work. You know, but in reality, if you were to stay true to yourself, even you being that young, I felt like if you get into something early, you learn it, even if you start at the bottom. But starting at the bottom is good to start at the bottom. That's where you learn the most. You know, no matter if you're at McDonald's, at a Walmart, or whatever it is, I feel like you still need to learn life experience, fundamentals, being on time, you know, like, you know, waking up early, being responsible, you know, and not calling out, and, you know, being there, attentive and consistent at work. It does teach you a lot of things, that all of that teaches you somewhat of discipline. And discipline can take you a long way in whatever industry that you're in.
That's very true, man. You said something that really stood out to me, because it's like, is it a scam? Yes or no? It's really hard to tell the viewers and you guys yes or no, because it depends who's sitting in the chair, right?
Yeah.
Going back to your thing, learning about business as a whole may be better than learning barbering business as one. But what if you go to learn this business thing as a whole and you have no idea what to apply it to? So you're not focused. As opposed to, let's say you went to business school, but you wanted to do barbering and you didn't like these courses from barbers, so you want to go to business school. You know exactly what you're looking for every single time. Even though it's confusing, you at least have, okay, this is what I'm looking for, an idea. Instead of it just like, think about all the classes we had in college.
Do
you remember?
You, yeah,
do you remember?
Just bombard
exactly.
You
so
shit.
I wish it would be in the perfect world where something broad would work for someone. They can learn anything, because the teacher has to be good. The student has to comprehend the teacher, and they have to apply it. So the reason why I say sometimes barbering courses may be better for barbers is because there's not all these variables put up there that they won't understand, and they can at least focus on the principle of things.
Yeah.
Even if it's not totally worthy of their time, you know, at least they're learning something that has made that person successful in their own industry. Because sometimes learning about all these industries is like overwhelming, and you never do nothing in your industry. But like, you're a great example, bro. You didn't go to college. You know, you have a successful business. You're out here doing your stuff. You know the principles that people should have learned in college.
Yeah.
So to your point, you don't necessarily have to go to college to understand those things. You just want to have to be that human being that wants to understand those things.
Yeah.
So if you went to college or not, you're going to learn it. And to your point, maybe if you went to college, you would have learned it a little earlier,
Yeah.
but you still learned it. So I can't say it's a scam, and I can't say it's totally worth it. But if you put your mind to it, it can be worth your while. But also with the money and everything going into it, you got to think about that too. It's like the debt that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
The debt is something a lot of people don't think about and look at. And then after 4 years of going to college, you're lucky if you're left with only like 20,000 of debt. People are left with $100,000 in debt. You know?
How does that actually work, bro? Because I never got into like, you know, getting FAFSA or
Right.
like, you know, writing for these grants and getting this money and all this
Yeah.
stuff, right? I have cousins that gone to college, and I just went to college to party. Honestly, like my cousins was going to one of my cousins that I would look up to a lot. That was like the smarty pants in from all of our cousins, and you know, graduated with honors and was valedictorian, spoke in front of you. Like I looked up to him and what he was doing, and he was going to UCSB. And anytime I had an issue or a problem or something that I would run into in life, I would always think of him because I felt like, man, he's doing things the right way, the way that my parents wish that I was doing things, you know. So I would think the closest person, my first source, would be him. And shout outs to Squid, by the way. That's my cousin, man. He taught me a lot of things and steered me in the right way when I was going in the wrong direction. But however, my cousin, when I was going to college, I started to realize that he's going through the same shit we're going out here in the streets, getting in trouble, getting tickets, you know, drunk in public. All that shit also happens in college.
We were just talking about that.
It happens it's almost as like it's happening to you, but it's happening to them too. But they are going to school, and that's happening to them with school campus cops, and like it's just maybe a little bit more leniency or whatever it is, you know, because they actually categorize these people like, oh, they're actually trying to do something with their lives. So, you know, we're going to let them slide this time or whatever it is, you know. But for the most part, I think that realizing that now that I'm older, sometimes I'd be like, man, I kind of wish I would have gone back to school because not only that, I feel like in college too, you learn how to expand your vocabulary.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for
people
sure.
start taking you more serious when you're using, you know, different vocabulary words than other people. Then you're not using street slang so much. And when you're out speaking in front of people, you want to sound professional, or when you want to, you know, close that deal off or have a rebuttal to when they give you a contract, like you want to be able to be knowledgeable to know what to reply back, how to actually get that sweet deal that you're looking for. And all that, I know going to college helps you with a lot of that stuff because you run into different ethnicities, different people, the way that they talk, the way that they move, different heritages. I feel like all of that is like a big bonus. Like you have all that in once. All you have to wake up and, you know, just go out and you know, be in that campus and stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, I always thought it was something great is going to college. But now listening to it from your guys' perspective that you guys went, it's almost like, fuck, but we end up in so much debt and all that. But going to the FAFSA thing, like, how is it? Like, I always thought like some people would brag like, man, just go to college. They're going to give you money. You don't even have to
pay
waste
for you
all
and
that.
all that.
You don't have to
Yeah.
waste all that money
Some
on
do,
books.
yeah, some do
You know,
pay you.
people would like, I would know people that they would be the ones spotting us with the fucking financial aid money, you know, like they were the ones with the money when we would go out
for the first
for
3
the
weeks.
free-
Yeah.
Until it runs out.
until it runs out, right?
Yeah. Nah,
So how does that thing work? You know, how do you really end up in so much debt?
Right. That's a good question, bro, because the worst thing when you're going to school and a university that's expensive is being in the middle class. I'm gonna tell you why. So if you're in the low class, you know, a lot of us were Latino and all this stuff, first gen and all this stuff. So like our parents were still trying to make it, and a lot of them were categorized in more of the lower class. So we would get FAFSA, you know. So FAFSA, it's by tiers. So if you're in the low class, you'll get a certain amount of money that gets funded to you, so you can pay for your tuition and the living cost of it. Now, technically, the poorer you are, the more money that you get. And the reason why I say being a middle class sucks is because you just pass that tier to where they're like, oh, you know what? You make 150K. You make enough. You can pay for his thing, which happens to be 30K a year, you know, and you have 2 kids, mind you. So now they have to pay $60,000 a year out of their own pocket, and they didn't get a pay raise, they didn't get a pay bump and all this stuff. They live in California, they have to pay taxes, they have all these different stuff. It's like, how am I gonna, maybe I had 20K in the bank, but where am I gonna cuff up the other 40K this year and the next year and the year after that? So now those are the students that don't qualify for FAFSA financial aid, because it's an aid. It's supposed to aid and help you. So now they have to apply for these loans. These loans, they're structured in different ways. Some will be like no interest until you graduate, and some are fat interest now until whenever you pay it off. So a lot of us, we get the no interest till after we graduate, and we put it in, and we kind of forget, like 20,000 here, 20,000.
And the thing is that those applications are so easy.
They're
KO. They're so easy.
The financial
bro.
aid is
like,
tough.
type 1, 2, 3, 4. You want this loan? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nah, but it's like so easy, bro.
And
like,
they make it very easy for you to take on that debt.
So, but tell me this. So when you're doing it, are you also thinking of like, oh, I'm gonna use all this for school, or just I'm gonna use this to fund my lifestyle?
So like going back to that, all right. So now, and then you have the high class people, of course, they can afford it and they're good and they come in with money. So now we go into school, right? Let's say you're in the high class, middle class, and I'm in the low class, right? You have the high class. You can spend a lot of money, but your parents probably control a lot of your funding. They can see all your credit card statements and all this stuff. So you're like, I'm not gonna do that because they check. You're in the middle class. Unfortunately, you're the poorest of the three right now because your parents have to pay all this. You took a loan, and so they're really like cautious on how much money they give you. Me, the lower class, I'm actually the richest out of the three.
Yeah, we got a lot of money.
Because my parents don't really control my finances. They don't even know how much I got. Second of all, like I'm getting this money. Let's say like it costs $5,000 for that quarter, and they give me $8,000. The $5,000 goes straight into the tuition, and they give me $3,000. That $3,000 is supposed to cover my rent, my food, and all that stuff. And I say I'm paying $500 because I'm renting out the room, so it's $1,500. So that leaves me with an extra, like what I say, $7,000.
$7,000 per year,
or $8,000, whatever. So now you're left with like $500 to $1,500, depending if you get $7,000 or $8,000. So now this is the money that I have,
Is this on a loan you're saying, or is this on the FAFSA?
No, this is FAFSA. So remember, he took out a loan. You didn't take out a loan because you're rich enough. You got money. He's barely doing enough, but they don't do it. So he has to take out a loan. I can't do it, but I get aid. That's not loan.
All this money for himself.
This is like grant money, right? So grant money is different. You have to apply to it, and but that's totally different. But FAFSA, the poorest, like the people that come from the poorest families usually have the most amount of FAFSA. And the reason why it's bad is because they're not taught financial literacy, money, right? So then I got you, bro. I got you. I got everybody. Come week 6.
Let's go to the mall.
I got the fresh new Jordans, fresh new Nikes, whatever it is. Come week 6, bro, I'm eating a cup of noodles. Begging my mom for $5, begging my dad for some money, Why? Because we don't come from that structure. So when we get that, bro, we blow it. But we're not thinking, this, I can invest this money. This, I can use this money. I can save it. That's why people that get the financial aid, they spend it. And you're like, bro, how you going to this UCLA and all this stuff, but you're spotting me for like to go out? Where are you afford? You don't even work.
But that's where that perspective comes. That's where that perspective comes when you see someone going to college. Like, damn, this fool doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing really good. But trip out, look, I know some people, bro, that they haven't gone to college. Their whole family didn't go to college. Guess why, bro? Because the older brother told him, you gotta pay that money back. The FAFSA, they give it to you, but then you gotta pay it back. I was like, you tripping. You don't gotta pay that back. I mean, you gotta pay back the loans.
Right.
But trip out, bro. The whole family didn't go to college because of that.
Yeah.
Like 7 siblings didn't go to college because the top one told them, you gotta pay that. You gotta pay that. You gotta pay that. And none of them went to college.
Financial
So
literacy
it's two sides. Like, bro, you guys should have gone to college. Like
you get
like,
FAFSA.
Yeah, you get FAFSA. You get a lot of money, bro.
How many? Okay, now you're in a different generation. When we were going and we were trying to go to school, right? Tell me if you could go to your parent and be like, help me fill out this FAFSA.
No, bro, they didn't even.
Right, we couldn't.
Luckily,
right?
my dad knew English, but not like.
So can you only imagine the new generation? And they come back to the parents and they're like, which would be us, right? Or the people that are in our age group. We're the parents now, the people that are gonna go to college. Do you think that's gonna have a shift?
Yeah, bro.
Now that we're more knowledgeable, because before it would just be like fuck, or just be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna go to college because I don't even know how to fill out this FAFSA.
Yeah, or not even college, bro. You got to think about a lot of these people that are successful in their own industry. They're sending their kids. They're not sending them to school. They're homeschool.
They're homeschool.
Right? Because they're like, bro, what they're teaching you in this world, it's a waste of time.
It doesn't apply.
And then plus with how the world, the society is nowadays, they're like, I don't want you exposed to that right now that your brain's not developed. So when it comes to college, bro, and all this stuff, like they might not even go to college because we were talking about this, using AI to help like better your children's not just knowledge, but like just range of stuff that they have the access to. So whether it's different languages, learning about barbering, learning about business, so I feel like if you have a good head on your shoulders and you have good knowledge, you can use not just AI, but other resources. Maybe you have some money too. You can have tutors and all this stuff. To now, it's like, you don't even got to go to college. You know more at 18 than I did at 28. I made sure of that. So now we can go and start your own business. You can go in a career, because most of these jobs nowadays, we talked about this. You get a degree and you can't even get into this job, or if you do, they still want you to do these certificates. For example, if you work at Google, like even if you have a degree, you still got to go through the classes that Google puts, obviously, because Google's like, yeah, you learn how to do tech and all this stuff, but we want you to learn how to do our tech. So sometimes some of these job offers, they don't even say diploma is required, they say certification is required. So why send my son or my daughter through school and spend all this money when it's not even going to benefit them? So now you're right. It's changed. Like the society's changed. Before we thought going to school, you made it, you completed it. You've understood that. You're learning that. I'm learning that as well. So it's like, why put the younger generation through the same thing we went through when we know there's other resources that at least we have some knowledge in, and we can help direct them so they don't waste this time and money.
Yeah, it's crazy. The times have changed to a point where I remember being in high school and they were teaching us how to name folders on a desktop, right? Now, my 9-year-old can download whatever app he wants to and delete any uploaded app to make space.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it is mind-blowing to me that before, the computer thing to me was like, man, you got to be a geek to know the computer.
It wasn't common knowledge.
But now it's like, and we're talking about a time frame where we look back and it's just been a few years, like 20, 25 years.
Well, you got to think about our parents. When they were going to school, the internet wasn't even a thing.
There was
for real,
nothing.
it wasn't.
So ChatGPT wasn't even a thing. So you got to think about now, the kids that are in high school now, some of them haven't learned anything because they just had the AI write it off for them. So that could be it. So it's just a perspective to anything in life. There's good and there's bad. So you got to see how it plays out, because there can be a lot of bad in that and there can be a lot of good in that.
Yeah.
But I think
there is like a lot of good and bad. I just think that it's just crazy right now. It's crazy times because so I'm a parent, right? So my son, my kids, I allow them to use the iPad and certain things, but there's certain things that are blocked on the iPad that they're not allowed to access, right? Before it was more like I want them to learn the whole thing, and then there's parents out there that's just like, no, I'm not gonna give them an iPad, because once you give them the iPad, then they're not gonna be. Well, guess what? Like when they get to school, like your son's gonna be the one that's behind, not knowing how to maneuver around in the iPad, because everyone in the class was given an iPad at a younger age, and you're trying to hold them off on doing that, but you're actually only slowing them down. It's only affecting him. Yeah, I understand that you don't want him to, grab onto that or whatnot. Or for example, when you go to a dinner and where everybody's on their phones now and all this stuff, right? They want to kind of stop that. They want to stop like society wants to stop it. Like, let's leave the phones away because we don't pay attention to quality time. But in reality, like, you could be staying behind on certain things.
You could, yeah.
You could be staying out. I think I grew up in an era where my dad was asking me how to download music on Napster and LimeWire.
Yep,
because I
days.
knew how to do it.
I remember.
And he wanted to make his own music
Those
CDs, right? So then he was
burnouts.
asking us. When in reality, I'd be like, "Well, you're older than me. I need to ask you."
But it was
just new to them,
bro. Your children in a few years, they're gonna be more advanced in technology than you are. You're already starting to see
Bro,
it.
I see it now because there was like, we had this thing on my kids like to play Fortnite, right? So there was a thing where I couldn't load the V-Bucks because I didn't have I wasn't logged in, but he was still able to play and everything. And I'm just like, dude, what? I don't get it. I can't do it. He's like, no, Dad, you need to go here and you need to go here. And it clearly took me to where I needed to log in.
And how old is he?
And he's 9, bro.
Yes.
And I was looking and I was really trying everything. I went step by step. I'm like, man, why can't I get it? My uncle, my son's uncle comes in. He gets his phone. How do ChatGPT? How do you log in when it looks like you're logged in. Where do you put your password? ChatGPT tells you everything, and it's just like, whoa, like you have this perspective, my perspective, and then my brother-in-law's perspective. To where it's like now it's like AI is crazy,
Bro, with the cameras, like the SD cards, I guess they're a different format. And I just told chat, how do I change the setting on Sony? It has an SD card problem. And I broke it down and I just put the settings and I was like, everything was so quick,
Yeah,
bro.
so that's the good in it, you know. So it just depends on how we play it out, you know.
Yeah.
We're in control of our lives. So going to school, using AI, being a barber, it could be good or bad. It just depends on how you take
Yeah.
it. So I like to focus like on the glass half full. So I like to see it more in the positive perspective.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you take in when you give out. So if I'm just giving out bad energy on all this stuff, which I know it's inevitable that's gonna come into our lives, just feel like bad stuff is gonna come with me.
Yeah.
For that. But if I take, we were talking about this. I told Diego about AI like a few years ago. We were talking about it.
Oh, look, he's the one that created the website when I told you that he just did it with AI.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You remember? And
Yeah,
that
I
was
remember,
like
I
4
remember.
years ago,
and
right?
it
Like,
created the website.
yeah, and that
seconds.
was the first time I was like, wait, what the hell? Just like what? Everybody was throwing that word around, like AI,
Yeah.
and we didn't really know what it was. You know, we were just scraping the surface of it. But now I think everybody has a
An
good idea.
right.
I don't know if you guys know who Peter Thiel is. Do you know Peter Thiel?
Nah.
Do you know who he is?
No, I'm guessing he's like a speaker, right?
Because that AI he's the creator of Palantir. Have you heard of Palantir?
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
company Palantir. So
Yeah.
Palantir is a defense military like data weapon. And they use it to track everything, bro. Like they could track cities and people in China and they could predict behavior through tracking people move. But that's like the extreme of the AI where it's like, because they asked Peter Thiel was like, okay, look, if the Antichrist were to come, it sounds like you're creating the system that he would to use. And
Yep.
Peter Thiel goes like, he just stutters, bro. He like,
He's right.
yeah, like they asked him that question, like, bro, you created this program. This sounds like a program that the Antichrist will use to monitor everyone. So there is that side of AI that we're not seeing. We're like, because it doesn't just track behavior, it could predict behavior. And that's the weird stuff. Like,
Well, it can predict because of the previous history that it has. It has all these different histories, and it has this equation where it can just plug it in, and it's gonna give you an output of it.
like
So that's
but it's trippy. Like, it could predict those random, like yesterday, like at 11:30, I'm about to go to sleep. My girl's like, we need milk. The baby doesn't have milk. I'm like, what? And I was just watching the podcast about Palantir, and then it said that it could predict those random moments when you go step outside at 12 p.m. to go buy milk or something random like that. It's gonna be able to predict those type of
Well,
behaviors.
you got to think about. I mean, you guys both have iPhones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you guys use Apple Maps.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys understood that, like sometimes Apple Maps knows where you're going.
That shit. No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's because it's cookies. It's just tracking previous stuff. So it's like, oh, it's 12 p.m. on Tuesdays. It knows you're coming to El Monte, you know, so it'll give you this address. It's Wednesday, it'll take you to the shop. So it's crazy, but it's just, I guess it just goes to show you that when the data is there, there's so much that you can do with the
Yeah,
data.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is where I want to get into with barbering. Think about predicting our customers' behavior. Hey, it's time to come back. You usually come back every 3 weeks. Sends out a little reminder, you know, or after it's been 5 weeks, it's like, hey, we miss you. Now it's gonna send out a soft marketing. Here's $5 off.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then to all the ones that haven't been here in a year, get a free product when you come get a haircut, something more aggressive to get them to
Sure.
come back.
So-
right? So imagine predicting when or now it's time to fill up on your product again. We noticed that you're out of clay. You know, it's time to get new clay. You know, shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Where you don't even have to do the upselling no more. And it's like, I am out of clay. Let me go ahead and order it. You know?
True. So you know how you were saying you're a glass full type of guy?
Yeah.
So that's where I want to move on to next. Like, how do you adapt and innovate as a barbershop, as a brand now with the advancement of technology? Like, how do you embed all these programs to make your business flourish? What have
Right.
you done?
Well, what we're trying to do is go away from a booking system that controls all our stuff.
Like,
and-
in what sense? So you don't want to use Booksy and
No, it's not that I don't want to use it. It's like I want to be able to have a custom API attached to it to where if I want to add in AI to help, let's say feedback. I think one thing that's very important as owners, we would like to know how our barbers are doing, but we don't want to micromanage them. We don't want to just look at them the whole time, be in the conversation, all this stuff. But it would be nice, let's say you're his customer and you leave the shop, 10 minutes, 20 minutes after you leave the shop, something where it's recent, it'll send you a thing where you get feedback. Can you give feedback to, for your barber today? And in order you get feedback, you'll get X amount of points where you can go ahead and redeem them for product or service, whatever. Something where it's gonna.
And it's like a coffee shop. When you go to a coffee shop and you put your number and it's like you got 5 points.
Exactly, like a rewards point, but not with spending, but with actual like giving feedback. Because now you can, like, let's say you can have a survey for, was my barber on time? Was he cleansy? Was his station clean? Was the shop music appropriate and all this stuff? So now you can ask questions that don't have to do with the actual quality of the haircut. So then now you can help not control your barbers, but let them know it's like, hey man, I see you're not that busy right now, but also like from your feedback from your customers they're all saying that you're coming in late. Station's a little like dirty. I'm not a genius, but I can put 2 and 2 together. I think you should start coming in a little bit earlier and cleaning up your station so your customers can see that more. They can take you more professionally and all that stuff. So this is where I'm saying that like AI can help us with this stuff, because we don't have the time to go get that feedback from people, but we want to know how our barbers are doing. Besides, like, I can see that the taper's good and all that stuff, but if you're not there right now, like, how is the shop doing from the customer standpoint? I don't know. You don't try to micromanage them in the sense of like you have all their customers' numbers and all this stuff, so you can't reach out to them, but you want to know how it's doing. So this is where I think AI can help us in getting tedious tasks done that will help better the barber and the barber shop as a whole. So I like ideas like that and using it.
So it's more like automation. Now you're automating the text messages, you're automating the feedback.
Exactly. Automating all those stuff and putting all those little tools together in what we use as a booking system and all this stuff. Now, the reason why I want to put it in there is because that's where we have the client list.
So have you created your own booking system already?
We're trying. So
I've seen a lot of people do it. Like,
yeah.
But I was asking you about the platforms, because I think Booksy now or Squire, they do a whole website for you, and it's almost like a whole your own Booksy, but you still don't have full control.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, we have our own website and we control our own website. And the reason why you want to control your own website is because you can understand where people are coming from, whether it's Instagram, Yelp, Google. So then you can funnel in more money into those different platforms where you're doing ads. But also, it's like, what I mean by that is, like, let's say I want to use Booksy, right? I want to use Booksy, but I want to go ahead and incorporate a feedback automation, text message automation, and I want to go ahead and put ChatGPT, put Canvas, different AI automation tools together into Booksy. Booksy won't allow me to do that because, or I don't know, I can't speak for Booksy because I don't use it, but an app would have to have these integrations allowed into that so I can do that.
Yeah.
A lot of these apps have,
they don't have that.
Or if they do, they have one integration here.
Yeah.
And but then I have a good idea and I'm like, I can't integrate that into my business because my system doesn't allow it. So it doesn't have. Okay, so ChatGPT came from OpenAI. The reason why AI is right here is because it was made an open source. So different people putting it in there, right? So imagine trying to use AI with a closed source. Like, I'm trying to put in other things in there, but it's not open. So that's where, booking systems limit us as barber owners to do things, or not enable us to do things that can better our shop.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do right now is find different AI tools that I trust and that are super easy for my team and me to understand. And it can help us with customer satisfaction, customer retention, new customer acquisition, stuff like that. Because I know that those stuff are valuable, right? But like, I also cut hair just like you. So like, a lot of the times, like, I don't get to like really look at that every day, and go ahead and use that data that we're doing there to better it the next day. AI can do that for us, just like how you said, like, it has all this stuff and it can predict it. If we're using this and we're storing this in AI and it's doing it for us, it's only going to get better because of the more data that it has in there. So now,
correct.
Right. So now that I have all these stuff there, now I can make a personal assistant to each customer, because now it can like literally be a barber. Like, what haircut should I get today?
Yeah, but don't you think that, bro? Like, I get what you're saying, right? Like, I follow all of that. Everything that you're saying with the whole AI and integrate that. But I'm also thinking about, what about old school barbershops that have been running for 20 years without using AI, and they're doing great. They're doing phenomenal. They don't need none of that stuff.
Right.
Like, why not use those same tactics?
Well, it's the same thing as like, why not send your kid with no previous knowledge in tech because he's already smart and he can figure that out. It's like, you want to use those things to better. Yes, they're doing better, they're doing good, they're old school and all this stuff. What if the owner wants to go ahead and leave the business? most of the stuff was done because there's a culture there set by the one person there.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. The problem with mom and pop shops and traditional shops is once you want to, let's say the owner's 70, he doesn't want to show up to the shop no more and all this stuff. As soon as he comes, now the culture has shifted because he was the one that set the culture. So going to your point is like, the problem with that is you can't scale a business like that. You need a system to where if I get out, someone else can go in and it can run better or the same. How many successful mom and pop shops can you say that can happen in Schenectady?
Yeah, because you were saying,
none, bro.
You were
I
saying,
almost say like none because then like they set the tone. It's just like, oh shit, the boss is here. I gotta make sure that.
But think about Starbucks. Like it has a system. It has a technology. You go to the POS. You just go there. They're all in uniforms. You can go to any Starbucks. It looks the same. Why? Because they scaled it out with a system. So not to say that AI is for everybody. It's not. But if you want to go ahead and scale your business to where you can stop doing tedious tasks, but you still want it to be done because you know it betters the business. It's like, I'm going to use AI to do that instead of me doing it myself or paying someone else to do it, because that business, it became successful by doing something good, you know, and it has to continue doing that good. So you're paying somebody, you know, there's very little businesses that got super successful all organically, very little, you know? So if I can save 90% of my revenue that I'm doing to do that, I'm going to do that. Maybe it's not going to be the same to the customers in the beginning. Like, for example, we had, you have to pay for the appointment, you know, like to get an appointment with us. And then we had an AI answer our phone calls. And I'm not gonna lie, when we first put that into the business, we had some customers complaining, you know, like, hey, like when I answer the phone, like I want to hear one of you guys, man, like this AI stuff, it scared me. And I was like, I get you, bro.
Hey,
No,
Squire
yeah, for
just
sure.
added that. Squire just added
Squire's
that.
adding AI, yes.
Yeah,
So,
AI.
but I was like, dude, like the whole point is me at least answering your phone call. You could have said like, he doesn't know that, but you could have said like, ask for me. You could have just said like, can I speak to Gerson? It would have dialed me right away. But my thing is like, out of the 100 calls that we get a day,
The
we
same
miss
questions, the same questions.
and we miss a lot of them because we happen to be, you know, trying to pay attention to the client or something. So we'll miss 30% of them. So I don't want to miss any of them, you know? So that's my whole thing. It's like, at least you have an access to me. You could just go ahead and ask for me. And people are like, I want to text you to book an appointment. It's like, bro, if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me when you're at the appointment, but like, I can't text you back all the time. You're a father, you know, you have life outside the shop. So it's like, why do I want to be sitting there outside the shop trying to get all my appointments for tomorrow when I can have automation or technology do this for me? It's like, yeah, now you're going to have to book online, all this stuff. But bro, you can do that at 2 a.m. You can do that at 2 p.m. You can do that on Monday. You can do that on Sunday. You don't have to bug me or think that you're bugging me. Now you can do that at your convenience. And so it's ultimately going to work. If I lose one client for that and gain 10 more, I'm winning every single time.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it, bro. And it's not for everybody. It's whatever fits into your business and whatever fits into the model that you're trying to do. I'm personally not trying to cut hair for next 30 years, 20 years. You get me? Like I want to be outside the shop in a few years. I want to be behind a chair and just cut whenever I want to. How am I going to do that? I have to put a system. Okay, but inflation is coming up. Things are going to get more expensive. How do I scale that system? Now I'm thinking
how
about
you
things
scale
like
that system in the current economy, huh? I was gonna say, like, I think one of the things that we were talking about, Keo, is like, I've learned this too at our business expos, is like the biggest mistake people do when they start a business is that they don't start it to sell it. You get me? Like you just start it. And if you just, the whole point of a business, bro, if you want to retire one day, is to start the business, scale it, build the systems, and then someone comes and like, look, bro, we run the website, we run the data, we own the data, we own the software, and you get all this for 100 million. They're gonna be like, hell yeah, let me get that. It runs by itself.
Right.
It gets clients by itself. It's already making 12K a month by itself, and I don't gotta be there. I just gotta innovate it. Bro, let me buy it off you. And that's when you retire. So automating it, I think AI will help you a lot with automation, but then we come into these problems where people want organic, like they want to talk to you. But honestly, I feel like barbers, bro, should automate certain things. Like once I went, bro, I get like 3 text messages probably a week. People
Way
trying
better.
to book 3.
Right.
I used to, you know what was my pet peeve, bro? I swear I used to hate these clients, bro. And they'll call me at 7 a.m. on my day off, bro. Like back then.
And then
I used to have that problem.
And then you tell them no, and they keep like kind of like, but why? But I'm a regular.
Yeah.
You can't do today. It's gonna be quick.
Now, bro, on my days off, my clients know that's my clients know if it's not on the app, bro, if that day is not available there, bro, it's not available. I already booked it out 2 months ago and I blocked it for a reason. It's a Friday 26. I send out messages that I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like you should know through the whole app, you know.
Or-
but then you gotta catch them up. You gotta catch them up.
Or even that, like think about going on vacation. Before, barbers couldn't go on vacation because they're like, bro, I'm gonna lose all my clients. Now you can send out a text message, hey, everybody, I don't want to lose business and I don't want to lose you guys. I'm going on vacation from X to X. Make sure to get before or after. And if you can't get in between these times, I recommend this and this people. Now you make sure all your customers are getting taken care of, and instead of like being on vacation and be like, damn, I wonder if he came or if he answered me, my regular.
To that, do you think that before it was definitely a lot different? Yeah, you would probably lose your clients because you're not there to service them for those 2 weekends or whatever, you know, because you were off for 2 weekends. And I feel like before, the culture has changed to now where it's just like, for example, if I take a vacation, the culture in the shop is so good that my client is comfortable enough to cut it with my boy next to me.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, bro, you know what? My boy's gonna take care of you while I'm out. All right, for sure, cool. I'll get you when I get back. Before, the culture in the barbershop was not like that.
Right.
Like it was to a point where, you know, people would just you wouldn't even be able to go shadow somebody because they would be like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, you feel me? Like,
yeah.
But I'm glad that it changed to that because now it's more like a more inviting culture too, where you're a barbershop from this is your house, and you know anyone here can attend you just as good as I can. And before it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it's not as cutthroat. Before it was super cutthroat.
Yeah, very, very.
But now
very.
it's because collaboration like this.
Yeah.
Bro, you guys are doing a great job at building a community with different barbers coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like you're my competition nor yours. I feel like you guys are my friends, and I would love to do business with you guys if chance, you know, if opportunity permits itself. But realistically, now like people see it as a career. You know, before people seen it as a hustle. So think about the hustle. You take away from my hustle, bro. Like, now we're enemies, you know? It was, I always said this before the barbering was very much like a drug game, right? You got to text them. You got to text them, right? You got to come in with cash, and then you can't look at anybody else. You got to go, you can't talk to nobody else. You got to go right there. You can't cheat on your barber, all this different stuff. So it was like very much like low key, you know, the barbers weren't even reporting their income. It's like all these different stuff. Now, career wise, like if you're taking appointments and you're taking credit cards, you're gonna have to report that, right? And now, like, you can go ahead and just like to me, it's just so different. Like now, like you can charge $150, $200 a cut, and you're not even cutting LeBron James. You're not cutting no celebrities. People just prioritize their haircut, and some people are really good at showcasing that to where it's worth your money, whether they're on camera or they just like to feel good or whatever it does to them. They pay that happily, and it's not millionaires paying that. So we're in a realm where barbers are making more than doctors, you know, but then you also in a realm where barbers are making less than people working at fast food spots, because it depends on how you market yourself.
The game is not for everyone.
No, it's not for everybody, but at least there's the opportunity and there's a lot of stability, like how we have it, to where it's a career. I take pride in what I do, you know? And when I tell people I'm a barber, like, oh shit, people think it's cool. Before, people would kind of like not really want to talk about it. They'll kind of like almost like look you down, like, oh, you're just a barber. It's the street stuff. Now it's like, no, bro, like I talk to lawyers, doctors, you know, entrepreneurs, engineers, like millionaires sitting in my shop.
Doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, they all need a haircut. Even from back then to the 1980s, they were still getting haircuts, but they weren't seeing it like that.
No.
You know, they weren't looking at it like that. Obviously, you know, now, you know, you walk into a really nice barbershop, you feel a lot better. There's aromatherapy in the barbershop. The music is nice. It feels good in there.
They offer you drinks.
They offer you drinks. You're sitting down. They shampoo your hair.
Right.
You know, like, things have shifted. You know, there's a lot more services available for your client.
Right.
Now in the industry, the way that things are shifting, what do you think is the next big thing for barbering, bro?
So I don't think it's this, but before I thought it was the sweets. You know, I thought it really was the sweets because everybody wanted to be their own, you know, like
their own boss
and do this, and you know, like, but I don't think that's how, because like, especially now with people working from home, people love going to the barbershop. And now the barbershop is not a cutthroat thing where like you can talk and like, bro, some people that have kids and all this stuff, they come to the barbershop to get away or not, or just to like
chill.
Like
chill,
it's a
you know? Sunday, let's go to the shop.
Exactly. So for me, what I think the next big thing is, what I'm telling you guys, is AI being included into the operations of barbering. You know, like it's never going to take our job, but it can help film. It can help edit. It can help attract the customer. It can help retain a customer. I think that's the real big thing, bro. Like the craftsmanship of it has been getting super good with precision cutting, you know, adding all these textures, like combining the shear game with the clipper game. I love that, you know? And I think that already has, it's in right now. It's not the future, it's in right now.
Yeah, it's just happening right now.
Yeah, the future, bro, I'm telling you, it's just AI automation. Like
Yeah,
Right,
now.
you think AI automation just as far as like of that customer retention, like
well, and showcasing of it. Now, how many barbers do you guys know showcasing their work now?
A lot. So many.
It's
Why?
like a big trend right now to showcase
Because it's
your work.
easy, right? You have
edit,
Canva, you have the
Yeah, but I mean, I know a lot of barbers that are trying to do it, and some barbers are like, man, I did it good for 2 months, and it's just like, fuck, it's a lot. It takes a lot of my time. I have to edit this video. I have to do this and that. And now I have 3 different sources. I have one that records it, one that edits it, or I'll record it, I'll send it in to get edited. I'll wait for it to send it back to me. But I still have to write this whole caption for it and post it. Make sure I post it at the right time, because this is the time that I get, you know, more traction on my IG or whatever. I just think it's a time thing too. You know how you were saying, oh, you know, I want to do all of this because, but at the end of the day, you still have to sit down and look at all this data and be like, okay, well, you have to press the button to send it to them to be like, this time you haven't been here in a month. Like, let's get you over here. You'll get a free product or whatnot. I think that you still have to still get on top of all of that. Even if all that AI stuff is just going to run, you feel like all that's going to run on its own, or is going to be, you're still going to have full control of that.
No. So all those stuff, you bring out a great point. You have to do all this stuff, and some people don't want to do it because it's time consuming. They're like, I just want to cut hair and all this stuff. And then you're trying to cut hair and you're like, I have no customers. I wonder why. You got to do other stuff to try to get those customers, but this is where you can use AI to help with the tedious stuff. You're seeing it now. There's some services in AI where you just put up the B-roll or of the footage, and it does, you know, edits. In the beginning, it won't be that good because it's like not you, but that's when you're training it to be like you, right? And then all these different stuff, when you're talking about posting at the right time, captions, AI does everything you mentioned.
Yeah.
Everything. You can schedule it, and you schedule it once, and now anytime you feed it in, it'll know when to post because it can track your followers' data, and it'll post for you. It'll write the caption for you. In the beginning, the caption might be bad, right? But again, the AI gets smarter and smarter. You're like, no, I don't want it to sound too robotic. So what you do is you have a conversation with it in your own language and tone, and it's going to grab that tone and language and rewrite the same message, but with your wording. So now it doesn't sound too sophisticated, too professional. It got a little slang in there. Obviously, like, I want it to sound professional, but like me.
Yeah.
So you go back and forth, just like how you're getting to know me and I'm getting to know you. By the end of this, I'm like, damn, I know a lot about him. Imagine in AI.
Okay, let's we left off on AI, but I want to move on to wrap it up, Gerson, on barber entrepreneurship. So you are 29-year-old.
Yes, sir.
You graduated college. You opened up 2 barbershops. You travel the world. What does barber entrepreneurship mean to you, bro?
Barber entrepreneurship. I love that term. And what it means to me is, of course, being your own boss, right? But it means so much more than being your own boss, because you're creating a culture within your station. Even if you work at an established barbershop, you're creating that within your station, whether it's tardiness, cleanliness, like we were talking about, but also the conversations that you're having with your customers, the products that you use, you know, and everything you have in your station. So barber entrepreneurship, what it means to me is to be able to own what you do, but proudly do it. So a lot of people, the reason why they want to be entrepreneurs and be in barbering is because they want to be their own boss, right? But they don't like the responsibilities of being your own boss. Being your own boss means no one's going to take out your garbage. No one's going to clean your station. No one's going to come get your clients. No one's going to tell them how much it is. No one's going to teach you how to do it. You have to go out and do this. So this is where I love the word entrepreneurship, because I think it's what we're like, going back to like our first question, talking about just the goods and the bads of everything, right? In the entrepreneurship, it's really all up to you, right?
Yeah,
like,
for real.
There's people that price themselves bad. There's people that price themselves really good, and they make a lot of money, and they're not even as good as these other people doing it. So for me, it's so interesting to see how people like price themselves and how people scale themselves depending on their quality or where they're at. So barber entrepreneurship is to take ownership in what you do, take pride in what you do, but also not be afraid of getting your hands dirty. Just because you're the boss doesn't mean you're too good to do stuff. And I think that's the epiphany or the bad concept of being your own boss is like, oh, I'm my own boss now. So like I have other people doing the shit that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like you're not a good leader. So it's being able to get your hands dirty while taking ownership and pride in what you do.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
yeah. I
you
like
know?
that. Like building the business and having leadership at the same time.
And still not forgetting your roots, right? Because when people come in and they start following you, they're just following you where you're at now.
What
They
is a
don't-
good example of getting your hands dirty as an owner, bro?
Right. Okay. So taking walk-ins. I know a lot of owners who hate taking
Yeah.
walk-ins,
Yeah.
staying past their scheduled time. You know, cutting people at a discounted rate because they happen to be older or child. You know, like when you can do something that doesn't tie into how much money you're getting. You know, because a lot of
It's
times
like building the brand.
it's
instead
building the
of-
brand, but also when you become that boss, like a lot of times, unfortunately, you're only focused on money. And a lot of times you lose that human connection of it, you know, helping someone else, like taking time out of your day to help someone who isn't going to be a part of your shop, but you know, is a young kid struggling, trying to do something out there, like still have the time to do that, you know, and then also taking out the trash, doing stuff that you want other people to do, delegate them. But once they're delegated, doesn't mean that you can't help them out and do it. You know, you
Yeah.
can't just leave. Like, imagine leaving as an owner, leaving the shop on a busy Friday, and you don't really like. You just leave the shop without really helping anybody, just because you know you've done your time, you've already put it in, and you're the boss. So you let everybody else do that. So for me, that's not getting your hands dirty no more. It's not doing the stuff that you did to get you where you're at now. Those are some examples, bro. But you know, other examples are passing out business cards. You know, doing a free haircut. Stuff like that, I think is super important, building your clientele, but showing the new people that it's okay to start out, you know, from the ground. And even if when you're up here, you can still do this and have success in doing it. Now, when I go pass out business cards, bro, I love it. It's fun. Before, it was so devastating. I was hesitant to get the word out. Now, I don't even like tell them I'm a barber. I like to have a conversation. I'm like, hey, bro, where do you get your haircut at? I like your haircut, actually. Like, who cut your hair? You know, like, or sometimes they're like, bro, I just got it at a random place. I'm looking for a barber. You know, I'm like, perfect. You know, like now it brings it out instead of like, hey, I'm a barber at this location. I'm new. This is how much I charge. You know,
Hey, I
before
saw another one is like a little baddie passing by, and he goes like, "Hey, you got a boyfriend?"
Right, it's
And
for
he's
your
like,
boyfriend.
Yeah, hell yeah,
See
great.
that.
Hey, tell your boyfriend to come to my shop.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
You can
and
tell
that was a good market because usually
Right.
you see girls out in public, and you're like, I don't want to market to them. I don't want to give them my
Yeah,
business card,
they
but
think it's
that's a
weird.
good one, bro. You be like, hey, excuse me, you're single? You have a boyfriend? You have a boyfriend? Hey, perfect. That's what I
Give
was
it
looking
to
for.
him.
Tell your boyfriend to come to the shop, bro. Here, you know.
So you can tell that's a guy with experience. He might be an owner and stuff, but you don't have many people doing that no more. Showing these younger, you know, people or just newbies the ways, you know, the fact that it's okay to go out there and kind of showcase yourself, but in a way that you're not selling yourself, you know, you're showcasing yourself. So that's getting your hands dirty, bro. It doesn't have to mean like, you know, like doing actual dirty stuff, but like doing stuff that you did day one as a barber, not an owner, you know?
No,
Absolutely, bro.
no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, what is the biggest lesson you have learned from running two shops? Right now, successful, two different cities. Like, what's your biggest lesson, bro?
Yeah, bro. I mean, sometimes it's a lot of work for sure, but having a system is everything. The reason why I say that is because being in two different areas, you know, especially when they're not right next to each other, is nearly impossible. And to make sure that one place that's established doesn't lose what we established when we open up another one was super like not difficult, but like it was a high priority in my thing.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was the hardest thing. And then I realized that when we opened up the second one, what our first one was missing. And I was like, dude, it's missing this, and that. So my biggest lesson was creating a full system, because before I didn't have a full system. I thought like we had the culture, like we were saying, we do a lot of this organic. We have the culture. I left, a few other barbers left, and I noticed that, you know, some of the barbers weren't getting there at, you know, being there the same time we were, because we were there like early and staying late. Some of the guys didn't have the same drives. You know, the shop was a little dirtier. It was a little like slower. So I was like, man, like, you know, like we still have like a lot of good barbers here. Why is it not picking up? And I was like, damn, we don't have a system to where for example, one system that we created in the shop was, you know, shop duties, SOPs. Who's in charge of this? Who's in charge of that? Before I was like,
SOPs?
yeah. So basically it's like you're giving people duties and you're sharing them between each people. So if I come and I notice that the trash isn't out, I don't have to get mad at the whole shop. I'm like, hey, bro, like,
Hey, whose turn is it?
right? I know whose turn is it because we have the SOPs. I look
Yeah.
on the calendar and I say, hey, Diego, like, you know, the trash is still here, bro. You mind taking that out? Boom, get that done. Instead of trying to figure out who it was, because I'm not here every day like how I was before.
Yeah.
So now creating those systems has allowed us to at least be able to like delegate work and still be efficient with it, because we weren't efficient when other people were doing it, but we're like, bro, people should be able to do this, you know, like we should be able to create a system and you should be able to read it and then do it. But we didn't have that because we thought everybody in there already knew. And I was like, damn, if we get more people to come in, new barbers, they're not going to understand this because we have no system. I'm not there to explain it. And maybe the guys are too busy to explain it, so they're not going to know. And then if the next guy comes in, he's going to learn from that newbie, which he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So now it becomes that telephone game where you like, I tell you something and the last person ends up with something completely different.
Like, hey, bro, I heard we could drink Modelo's right here,
Right.
man. It's not true.
And
The
I
homie
started-
said we kind of could drink. And like,
Right.
nah, bro, we can't.
Right, you get me? Like,
Yeah.
I actually said we could drink water. And
We could
the
drink
homie
water.
at the end started, we could drink Modelo's. It's like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, you know
So-
what I noticed about business structures that the barbershop never has? At least me. They never have training, onboarding, and then probation. Like,
or policies.
Or policies. I will have those three things. Like,
So-
your first day is training, bro. You're getting all the walk-ins, bro. The second day is onboarding. Okay, look, check this out, bro. This is how the shit runs here.
Right.
This is Diego. He's the manager. I'm not the manager, but I hope not. I like the manager. Like, hey, this is this guy. Blah, 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 blah. You know, so it's like getting them on board. And then,
Yeah.
hey, you still got probation for the next 3 months, bro. You better not
See?
be acting stupid and doing all this stuff because I'll fire your ass, you
Right.
know?
And so it's easy doing it at one shop. Imagine having 5 shops and trying to make sure all 5 of them are like that. This is where you have to have a system, you know,
Yeah.
because now you have 5 shops, you scale it to 5. So yeah, that was the biggest lesson for me is like, I
No.
thought I had a system because I had a booking system. I didn't have an operation system. I didn't have a hiring system. I didn't have a
Hell
training
yeah.
system.
Preach.
I was like, damn.
I kind of do got a system too, like in a way, you know, like I as far as like, you know, hiring and policies, what you can and can't do.
Do you have it written out and everything?
I don't have it. I do have it written out,
Okay.
like in paper, like me writing things as we're talking, taking notes and doing meetings and stuff, like with, because I have a partner too,
Right.
And then talking to my partner, then we put somebody as a manager,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then now it's a trio, right? And anything that we need delegated to the team goes first to the manager delegates it to the team.
There you go.
If it's not working out, we have a meeting. I tell everybody directly out loud, where it's loud and clear, and I know that there's no play with words or anything like that. From there, manager makes sure everything's being taken care of the way it was said already in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did the manager already tell you one time, it seems like it wasn't working out. The owner came in, we had a meeting about it. We took it there. Everybody's well aware that way you don't feel like you're being targeted. It's just
Right.
yourself. It was said in general. Nobody got put on the spot. From there, things are not working out. We'll talk one-on-one and we'll figure it out in that conversation, whether you want to stay or you want to go. You know, thankfully it's never had to gone to that extent, you know. But for the most part, like there is, as far as like systems, like at my barbershop, you can't go looking crazy, bro. Like
Right,
you
you
can't
have to
go
be
in
presentable.
sweats. You have to be presentable.
Yeah.
You can't wear sandals, even if it's super duper hot. No matter what time of day you're cutting, even if it's Sunday, it's more chill. No, like it's just safety precautious, you know,
Right.
like things like that. That we keep. We make sure you sweep your hair after every haircut. Just nothing too tedious, because I feel like sometimes when you have something like that, it's like, dude, that's why I left a 9 to 5.
Right. It's
Like,
micromanaging. Like we were
that's why I
talking
left
about.
a 9 to 5. I don't want to be under so many X amount of rules. Plus,
Right.
you know, I like to talk to my boys that come in here a certain way. I
Right.
get all that super culture. So it's very, very freely open, but we're also all adults.
So let me ask you: is your last hire? Can you teach a new hire?
My last hire could teach I don't think he has qualities that. So my last hire was a walk-in barber.
Okay.
Somebody that's going to take walk-in. So he can teach him the way, you know, anytime somebody walks in there, make sure you greet them. You know, we offer drinks to every single client, and just make sure you're on time for all your appointments. These are the prices. Like,
Right.
so I feel like he can teach him, whether he knows that that he's supposed to. I don't think he may know that unless he's appointed to do that.
Right. You should. I mean, one advice that I would give you is have him teach. If you ever, I mean, and they said you're full and all
I mean,
stuff.
we're full,
right?
but
But
I
like,
never had to cross that bridge yet.
and eventually you're gonna have to, because you're gonna have people that leave and all that stuff. But you're gonna want to open another shop and stuff like that. And so this helped me be able to see how much I needed a system, because I was like, I want to know what the new guy knows, everything. If you were to teach somebody new. And I was like, wait, you don't know this, this, and this, and that. I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't emphasized because we told you, right? Like how I'm telling you, but it wasn't emphasized. So I was like, this is where my training has to get better. And I didn't realize that, bro. The first 7 years of the shop or 6 years of the shop, I thought we were good. I didn't realize that until year 6, And I was like, damn, like it's really important. Your weakest link is your strongest link,
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to be able to see how my newest person is seeing this, because then the next person is going to see it probably a little less than him. And I'm trying to keep it. And it's hard to always keep it at 100. You're going to lose a certain bit, when you go, but trying to keep the principles is very important. So that's where creating a system was good for me, because I can talk to everybody individually when I was there, but then I wasn't there. And then like trying to talk to other people, now there's more friction, because I'm like, dude, I'm trying to deal with this and I forgot about that. We're humans. So I was like, man, we need to create a system to where like, you don't have to go through me to do that. You just put it on here, the next guy knows. Because there was only so much my mind can remember, bro.
Yeah.
I kept like forgetting stuff that I wouldn't forget before. But it's because I started a whole new business, training all these people. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, yeah,
You have to go back to the drawing board.
I gotta go back to the drawing board. Yeah, because
but actually, I feel like that's the sweet part of the journey. I feel
it's
like
good problem.
it
Yes.
feels like, oh shit, I'm always a student to the fucking game.
Yeah,
Either way, if I'm the
trying to
CEO,
learn.
the boss, the owner, like I'm still learning from little things that I miss out on, or that not that I don't pay attention to it, but it's just like my mind focuses doing something else right now, that I got to remember that I can't leave these people behind either. But I ask you if there's anything different of both shops. Do they all run exactly the same, or is culture a little different in one and the other? Is one more professional than the other, or how do you feel? Since you built the system, I would feel like they both run fluently, exactly the same. If you know that there's a problem coming up on this one, it's probably going to come up on this one too. Is that the way how it flows, or do you have like each one has its own identity?
It's very, very similar, but they have their own identity, because the shop is shaped differently. Like the layout of it is a little different, but also we're in a whole different county. We're in a whole different city, so our customers are different, and that sets the environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but very, very similar in different, like, in the operation and stuff like that. It just happens to be our customer base and the look that's different. But besides that, the operations
I
is the same.
was going to comment, like the culture could slightly change, but the infrastructure is the same. Right?
Yes.
Like the infrastructure, the bones inside, bro, are the same.
Yeah, it's
But
the same
everything
plant, different
outside,
base.
yeah.
So one of my customers just actually told me this weekend, Saturday. He came to my new shop, and he's been a long-term customer in Riverside, and he really liked the place. And I was telling him, I was like, I was introducing him to the guys, because he knew all the guys in the other shop. So again, I want to keep the same culture. I love when like my customers know everybody in there. They say what's up to them and all that. And I was showing him that, and I was like, look, this is one of our new guys. I was kind of introducing him, and he came back. He's like, yo, I love this, because I remember in Riverside, you guys were all like family, and I can see that building right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to, bro, because we have a very low turnover rate, even though we're a commission-based shop, because we treat our barbers like family. Like I always say, you don't work for me, you work with me. So people really like take that, and like they're like, okay, like this isn't my boss, this is a leader, This is somebody who I look up to, but I don't like have to ask permission for 100% of the things. And I love that, because I'm not trying to babysit somebody. I'm trying to work with you, So for me, like the shops are different in the atmosphere because of the people that come in, but the way they run, similar problems are going to be the same thing, So the culture in there is as close as it could be, even though the layout and the people are different.
What is one of the biggest problems you have on a commission-based shop? Like what is some of the one of the biggest things that you run into doing commission?
Scheduling, and maybe like some people might not be as hungry because they know that like they don't have to pay a certain amount.
So you schedule them to work certain days?
Yeah,
like you still tell them what days to come in or whatnot? They don't have a freedom to come in whenever they want?
No, because what we do, one thing that I really love with the commission-based system structure is we have part-time barbers, something that isn't really seen in this industry, right? So I don't tell them what days to come in. Like I like, let's say I'm hiring you and we're talking about this. I ask for your schedule, you know, and then I'm like, okay, if this is the schedule you can commit to, we have this schedule available here. Now, let's say if it doesn't work with it, it's like, we have this schedule available here. Can you guys do this? The reason why I ask them that is because some people can't be in the shop 5-6 days. They have other stuff or they can't commit to it. So for me, it's like, I like to fill up the shop 6 to 7 days a week, or the stations, and I can do part-time people in there. So I like to work with their schedules and put them in there, and not necessarily control their schedules and what day. But it's not like you have the freedom, like this week I can work Monday and next week I can't, because someone's going to be in that station. And we try to do that to try to fill in as much people, but also like at the end of the day, make the shop profitable. Because if I'm using one station for a guy that's there for 2 days a week and he's on commission, as much money as he can make, I'm like, dude, I'd rather just, you know, have somebody else in here part-time and doing that. So my structure is a little bit different, bro. And
that's crazy, bro.
That's
Yeah.
I remember we met
super
Anuko.
crazy.
We met Anuko, and they do that. They just move their stations. They take their station to the back, and the barber brings his station to the front.
Oh, yeah, we don't move the stations,
No,
but
but
yeah.
but you make it more. What is it? You optimize it. You
yeah.
optimize
So-
it, bro. Where that chair is being sucked out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, hey, those hours that, like, bro, I'm a booze rent barber. I'm not there today. I'm not there Sunday. I swear, I told GT, bro, you want rent that those 2
Yeah.
days, because you can make extra more money on my chair, bro. And I wouldn't even mind that as long as they keep it clean.
But that's also like, can you imagine then you got to remove all your stuff after every day? Do you want to do that as a
Nah,
barber?
hell
Right. So
no.
that's why.
So that's what I'm telling you. Like, I like what you're doing and all that stuff, but then also too, I'm like, damn, dog. Me in my head, I'm like, dude, that would be super difficult for me to try to run that type of structure at my shop, you know, in the way
Yeah.
that he's doing it, put somebody part-time and or whatnot, right? So that means, it tells me that nobody can make an appointment with any of your barbers, or they can make an appointment with any of your barbers.
Oh, like make an
Like,
appointment with
make an
anybody?
appointment, like, for example, like I want a haircut by Gerson on Saturday at 8 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So like everybody's schedule is already set. Like, because like, for example, like I work in OC on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So the reason why I like that consistency is because like people don't have to guess when I'm there. I'm there those 4 days, and then the 2 other days I'm in Riverside, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now the days that I'm not there in the shop, my station's being occupied by somebody else. But it's consistent to where a customer knows, oh, I can only catch Gerson on Riverside Tuesdays and Thursdays. If I want to book with him on Saturday, I know he's in Orange County. So people would drive to Orange County to go there. But now they don't have to be like, oh, I wonder what shop he's in today. So the consistency has allowed us to work part-times because people know when you'll be in. For example, like if Diego were to take one extra day off, let's say he took Saturday off because he's a family man and everything now, so he has Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday off. That means he's at the shop Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I can have somebody in his chair Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll make sure to optimize the station to where it's not cluttered. Like, there's no need for you to have 50 boxes of clippers that you
gel.
use. Yeah, or gel, you know? Make it to where we sell products in our shop. Barbers get commission for selling products. So we provide them the products so they can showcase to their clients. So we have one cabinet for products, the other one for capes, the other one for
Cleaning supplies.
for cleaning supplies. And then the rest, the top 3, will be for personalized tools. So you can get one, this person can get one, and you guys can share this one where you have your mirror and all this stuff. So I try to make it to optimize, because you have the ability to leave your stuff at the shop. You can take them as well, because we have some barbers that work in both locations, just like me. So that's the only
crazy,
way that
bro.
So now
Crazy,
again,
This shit is
But
mind
look,
blowing,
bro, this
bro.
is what been doing it.
But it
7
works. But it
Bro,
works.
it works
Like,
really
it's crazy
well.
because somebody else will probably think like, man, that shit would never work.
You know the reason
But it's
wh-
crazy. It does fucking work.
it works because it's a system.
It's a system.
So
Exactly.
that's what I'm trying to tell you. So creating a system, you can scale, because if I didn't have this system, bro, it would have been a mess.
And I feel
A
like
mess.
it's easy when somebody leaves. It's just like, oh, I just have to offer this exact same schedule to whoever I want to hire next, and it'll just be like, boom, filled in,
Exactly.
keeps working the same way. Boom,
Exactly.
boom, boom.
So now when I have a new barber coming in, now you're the last one to come in. It's like, hey, bro, like, you want to work here? I would love to have you. I'm gonna train you on stuff, but this is the hours that we have available on Mondays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Does that work with your schedule? Yes. And if it doesn't, cool. At least we won't have any problems in the future, because I know it doesn't work with it. I'll move on to the next one until someone can come in and fill that spot in, and then it's good. You know, like, so for me, bro, it's happened to work. It's not for everybody, but this is what the importance of having a system and scaling it. Because if I didn't have a system, bro, it would be chaos. Our customers, imagine we didn't have a booking system.
Yeah, I think
You know?
it'll be all over the
yeah,
place,
they're
bro.
like, I forgot that Gerson's here Tuesday and Thursday. I thought it was Mondays and Wednesdays. You know, they'll forget.
Yeah.
But now with that, it's set online. If you have a question, one of the things about our website and something that I think these booking systems can't do when creating a website is I want to make sure my website can answer all your questions that will be answered if you came to my storefront. So we have a frequently asked questions tab on our website. We have a maps to where you can kind of find us. We have the different barbers. We have stories of the barbers. We have the scheduling of the barbers, pictures of the barbers, pictures of the barbershops and locations. You know, so we try to make it to where like there should be no confusion and no friction. There will still be that 1% of people that complain and get lost and all that stuff. But at least now we don't have to worry about all the friction of people asking us stuff, and we can run it the way we want to. So it's worked for us, bro, and it's been working. I would love to like eventually, like once I have a software for this, to be able to teach this to people and how they can fill up their stations all, you know, for the 7 days a week, but and not limiting, you know, what they can make. And I think now that we live in a barbershop culture towards collaboration, and we don't feel like, oh bro, like I don't want to be in Diego station. Like, you know, that's my competition. Now you can collaborate. So now I feel like it works in today's world. It might have not worked, you know, 20 years from now, but it works in today's world, bro. And I can see it working in the future.
I also feel like in the area that you're in,
I tell you,
it works
city.
because of the city. Because I think it's kind of hard to get LA people to run fucking systems, bro.
Yeah.
LA people are meant to fucking break the system. So it's crazy. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but it also is a completely different culture in the area
Whole
you're
different
at.
model, huh?
Yeah.
And even the clients. The clients. Oh, I don't know if in your barbershop do you have a line of people waiting to come in to get a haircut? You know, at times.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like
At times
that.
that happens, you know. So what we try to do is we have a QR code and we have stuff in the front, and like we try to go out our way and look at the iPad and let them know the schedule. But the easiest thing is like, yeah, man, of course. And if you don't want to wait, you know, the wait time right now is about an hour and a half. If you don't want to wait, scan that QR code, look at the available times for any barber, and choose the time that works best with you. Most of the time,
And that's how they book an appointment.
and they'll be like, I'll come back because time is money. I don't want to spend here for 2.5 hours. I got class. So that means that I can go to class or go to work and come back here on my break, and I know I'm good. So now it works for them because it like that system actually fits in today's society.
Yeah.
Time is money.
So is that client your barber's client or the barbershop client?
The barbershop's client. You know, now it's up to the barber to make that client. Now, but like it's
So when that barber leaves, can he take that client?
Of course.
Yeah?
There should be no tension in the barbershop, because when I leave for vacation or if I happen to leave, I'm like, look, these guys are more than happy to take you. We've trained each other to make sure we know similar stuff. So they're going to give you a different, for example, when I put my price up, I know I lost some people. They're like, I can't afford that no more. No worries, bro.
But you put your price up for the whole barbershop or for yourself?
Oh, for myself, it's individual. The whole barbershop doesn't have 14 years of experience like I do have in these courses. So there's.
But I mean, you're running a system. So when you leave somebody that is already paying you $65, you're gonna allow that person to pay $40 to the other person?
Of course.
Yeah?
That's on them. They could have paid $45 from the get-go. You know, but then here's the thing though, that person that's at $45 knows these clients will pay $65. They just got to get their skills up,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, well, okay. Look,
So
check
it
this out.
helps
So,
them-
so when I'm not there or whatever, and like one of my clients want to get a haircut, I pass it to my barbers, and I'm like, charge them what I charge them.
You could, you know, but that's because you want to I do that when I want to make sure it stays within. Like I want to keep this bar.
Yeah,
you know?
well, of course.
Yeah, but when it's like, no, most of the time, bro, I'm like, look, because they can see the prices of each barber online.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
want to lie to them and them thinking like, hey, why you charge me more if I know you charge this? So I just want to be transparent in the business. Like just make it super transparent to where the customer knows exactly what he's getting for. Why are you paying more for him than him? You got to look at the experience and all that stuff, because they'll go to a cheaper barbershop because they can't afford it, and they'll get a worse quality haircut. At least here you'll get a good quality haircut, but you won't get from the owner, from, you know, one of the top guys, but they at least taught these guys. So they're not too far off.
But I think that the client must, in order for the client to go and look at the barber's price, it's like, oh, why did he charge me if he's paying the exact same price? I don't think they would go and check out the pricing if he's charging them more or whatnot.
No, yes.
Right?
Well, right. You know how he will? Because let's say I'm your customer, right? And you put me to Diego and you told Diego to charge your price. What if I like his customer more and I want to book him? Oh, wait, your price is 55, not 65?
You'll be like, hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. But
Hell
I'm
yeah.
going to be mad at him. I'm like, why did you let him charge me your price? You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that. I can see
You
that.
see-
I mean, there's multiple ways where
There's
they could,
right.
where it could be. But I mean, I'm also not gonna like if he likes your haircut more, then you kind of take it from there.
Yeah, you take it from there, but then you're
kinda
gonna
take it from
wonder.
there.
I'm like, I wonder. Like, so I'm gonna ask now Diego. I'm like, hey, bro, that first time you come here, why'd you charge me more? Now it's up to
Yeah.
Diego to like tell him the truth or to try to like keep, because the truth would be like, damn, like I'm not trying to lie to this customer, but I got to think of something on the spot.
We were just trying to stay consistent, bro. You already pay 65, so I'm charging you the same price. But if you want to switch over, bro, my actual appointment price is this price. I feel like
Transparency.
transparency, and
Exactly.
clarity will get you the freedom.
So you ended with transparency. I like to a lot of times start with it. So like, because transparency is the key to
Since
that,
the get-go.
So from the get-go. So I was like, look, bro, I charge 65. I'm gonna put you to my boy. Just have him. He's gonna charge you his price. He charges less, and I hope you know that. and
But
you're
I
cool with
guess I
that.
just do it because it opens that bar. Because I'm looking out for the barber,
For sure,
Because
yeah.
that barber is like, I don't think nobody would
Could
ever pay
pay
me
that
60
price.
bucks.
Yeah.
Like, look, bro, stay true to yourself. If my client could pay you 65, your client could pay you 65 if you're doing,
So you're a really good leader. You got to think about sports. You're a captain, like, so the captain's making all these shots and all this stuff. You're like, damn, I wish I could make these shots. You start training with the captain and all this stuff. The captain goes to a different team. Soon you'll become that captain.
Yeah.
So you're doing something good by, doing a lot of owners don't do that. A lot of
Yeah.
owners aren't barbers,
yeah.
so you got to think about that. That's the key advantage that we have as owner,
Barber
like
and
barber
the same
operator.
shit, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, bro, because not everybody has the liberty to go ahead and do that. But yeah, everything, like I used to have a uniform price, but I was like, bro, I feel bad putting my price up because he not gonna get that
Yeah,
same cut.
yeah.
So at the end, bro, I just realized like, no, like pure transparency is gonna
That's
help.
cool.
And the only way I do transparency is by having the digital aspect of it to where they can look at it
And see
anytime,
everything.
because they don't want to be like, oh, you're just controlling that. Like bro, we used to have a price list of barber, the services and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Took that shit out right away because like,
Yeah.
when I put my price up, they'll be like, but why does it say 40 there? How you're charging 50?
Yeah.
I'm the owner,
What's
but-
a walk-in price, though?
Walk-in price is the shop price, so it's 45. So that's what I tell
45,
people.
okay.
That's the one thing I do
So
tell
do you
people.
feel like your barbers should be charging more for an appointment, or can they stay at 45 if the shop price is 45?
No, yeah. Whatever their price is. So like, I like to go with it's economics, right? Demand and supply. So how much customers you're getting, all this stuff. After you get a certain demand, you can put your supply. Like you can
Yeah.
put
Price
that
up,
up,
yeah.
price up. So for me, is I like to base it off your performance. Numbers don't lie. People do. So if your numbers aren't lying and they're saying it's time for a price increase, we're gonna put your price increase up. But I do like to tell people, it's like when people come into the shop and they have no idea what you charge, charge the shop price, please, and let them know that if they want to book an appointment with you, this is your regular price. If they want to come in as a walk-in, it can't be guaranteed that they're going to get you, and they might have to wait. Today happen to be a slower day, so you can get that. Let them know the importance of appointments, because some
Yeah.
people, they don't understand that you might have to wait 3 hours for walk-in, even though you're the only person there, just because my next availability isn't until 3 hours
Yeah.
from now. So I like to explain that to people, because they're like, they think, oh, just because no one's here, I'm next. And then someone else comes in and sits in your chair, and they don't understand that. So I let them know, like, today
Yeah.
just happened to work out. But we're not in a walk-in based barbershop, but we still welcome, So some days you might get lucky, some days you don't. If you want to be consistent with it, because most people love consistency, here's my booking link. If you like my haircut, here's my business card. You can scan that to book the next appointment. If not, you're more than welcome to walk in like you did the first time.
Got it.
Man, wait, hell yeah, bro.
So make it simple.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, damn, you dropped a
Yeah.
lot of gems today, bro. I'm trying to look
yeah.
for
Nah, shit was good. And I want to give you guys your shout out too, bro. I be watching you guys on Instagram, and
Yeah.
I love to see it, bro. Like just having different people and sharing their mindset, because this is what the barber community needs.
Yeah,
sure.
Like a lot of people don't get to go to college. A lot of people don't have friends that go to college, so they don't get this insight from barbers themselves.
Right.
So keep doing this, bro. I'm a big fan of Diego. It's nice to meet you, Co. But I root for you guys every time
Thank
you guys
you,
go on
bro.
my
Thank
feed.
you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
Yeah.
you,
Yeah,
man.
you came in and introduced a new business model of barbering, and that's what I wanted to bring you, because I already knew. I followed your journey too, and I'm like, bro, this fool, ever since I met him, you already had like 3-4 years with the shop.
Yeah.
You were already doing this pixel integration, running ads, and I was just like, God damn, now is fast forward, you have 7 years already.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're one of the innovators in the industry, bro, but you're quiet. You're
am.
not too loud, but
Right.
I feel like these are the people that we need to learn from. So thank you for driving down here, bro. I appreciate everything you shared on our platform. I hope our viewers get a lot of value from this. KO, wrap it up real quick.
Yo, Gerson, man, it was crazy to know that you were coming on here. When Diego shared your page with me, I was looking at a lot of stuff, seeing you were two barbershop own. You have two barbershops under your belt and stuff, and commission based and stuff like that. So it's always great to hear what's working for other people that you're not practicing, because you never know. You may need those models in the future. You know, you may want to jump into try commission. I may want to jump into try commission based shop at one point or whatnot. You know, but I thank you, Gerson. It's been a pleasure. It seems like you're really well put. You're very knowledgeable. You got your degree that you haven't even put into play, and you're being successful. You travel the world and stuff like that. I just want to open up your doors to us. You know, your family now, and now that we share your gems here, you know, in our platform. And I'm excited to, you know, be able to send you messages and pick your brain a little bit more, bro. I know that this whole podcast, we couldn't get a lot of it out, you know, but there's definitely a lot more things that I want to ask you. And if there's anything that we can do to help out your business, or anything in our platform that we can do to, you know, excel, both lift each other up and stuff, that would be dope. You know, thank you for spending your time with us here in the Barbertainment Podcast, and continue doing what you do, man. God bless you and your endeavors and your business, bro.
Thank you. God
Let's
bless
go.
you too,
This
man.
was Barbertainment with Gerson LEMUS.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I was just checking the time, and I was like, damn, the homie said you gotta be here at 12:30. Out of it's 12:40.
Oh yeah.
So, let me just take a picture of you, bro. And then
Okay.
You can go. You can get going, bro. Okay, sit right here. I'm gonna take a picture of both of you guys. And then you switch. No, you can sit right there.